Have you ever seen an ad for leasing a car on TV? The big number shows up like $190 a month. And at the end of the ad, all this stuff flashes down at the bottom of the screen, which really tells you what it's really going to cost, how much you have to put down, and what the total price might be. One of the points in today's gospel has to do with what something costs. It's not really a car, but it's about the cost of discipleship. The cost we should be ready to pay for making a commitment to Christ. We're not talking about a monetary cost, but rather what we will have to spend in what we must do or not do if we are going to make a firm commitment to the Lord. So let's look first at the Gospel of Luke and try to appreciate what it was that Jesus was telling his disciples, and then ask what the cost of discipleship might entail for you and me today. Since June, we've been reading from this section of Luke's Gospel, which has Christ on a journey to Jerusalem. And each week, we have a different short story taken from the teachings and sayings of Jesus. And in today's passage, Jesus is attempting to get his followers to see that a commitment to follow him meant that the Lord had to come first, and everything and everyone second, even mother, father, spouse, child, even self. As someone once said, if we follow Christ, we must be always in the third position. God is first, the other is second, and I'm third. In Luke's gospel, Christ is trying to get the people to appreciate the implications of their decision to follow him. They must see what the cost might be and be willing to pay the price. He uses the parable of the person who built a tower but couldn't finish it to illustrate the situation of a person who starts to follow Christ but can't seem to follow through when the commitment is difficult. Christ was trying to teach the people on his journey to Jerusalem that substantial demands would be made on them. If they followed Christ, they should be prepared to pay the price if they chose to follow. What might this mean to you and me as we hear Luke's gospel? Are we ready to pay the price? Are we, for example, ready to stand up for our Christian principles, even when it might seem rather odd or make us not with it? Sometimes the cost of our discipleship might be the loss of so-called friends who are not comfortable with one living out his or her Christianity. Students who are returning to school will have many opportunities to see if they are willing to pay the price. College students living away from home will be challenged to see what cost they are willing to absorb in their own life for following Christ. It may mean that Christ the King parish needs to become even more sensitive to the demands others can make on us simply because we are followers of Christ, nothing having to do with them. Our charity should not be limited to our fellow Catholics, but must reach beyond our parochial borders. Moreover, our charity cannot be confined to personal acts of mercy, but must encompass social justice issues as well, issues involving systems and governments. We don't have a real choice in the matter. It's the basic cost of discipleship. The cost of discipleship is not like a yard sale. We can't bargain with the Lord to see if he will reduce some of the costs. It requires our very lives, one day at a time.